Welcome everybody to another video. I know it has been a long time since I made a video on this channel, and I'm sorry about that, but you know what, today I was just thinking, people like Marvel, I like Marvel, I'm sure you like Marvel, it's a good franchise, you know. Why not make a tier list of the MCU? And that's what we're doing today. We're going to be ranking the MCU on the tier list. So obviously if you look at the tier list, we got the S tier, that's the best. Then we got the A tier, which is like really good. That's a good tier to be on. Then we got B tier, C tier, D tier, E tier, and F tier. You don't want to be on the F tier. You don't want to really be on the E tier either. And the D tier is just okay. It's okay. Anyway, let's get into this video. I don't want this to be too long. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. Let's do this. So first up, we have Captain America: The First Avenger, the first origin story in the MCU chronologically. And I thought this was a really decent film, decent origin story for Captain America. I'm kind of leaning towards B tier at the moment, so we're going to put him on the B tier. Captain America: The First Avenger. Strong villain. Well, decently strong villain. I liked the Red Skull. I thought it was a very goofy character before watching the film, and I thought they did the character pretty well in the film adaptation. It was great seeing an origin story for Steve Rogers and Captain America. I thought as an origin story it worked pretty well for what it was going for. Peggy Carter's great. Bucky Barnes was great as well, and it was a good starting point for the MCU. I feel like, even though it didn't come out as the first MCU film, I thought it was a good starting point for the franchise, chronologically, of course. So it was a decent film, and I'm actually excited to revisit that one of these days. It's been a while since I've seen it. Next up we got Captain Marvel, and this one wasn't great, unfortunately. I'm kind of leaning towards D or E here. Let's go D for now. The reason it's on the D tier, I don't love what they did with this film. It felt very busy. It felt like there was a lot going on, lots of villains, and I didn't really like Brie Larson's portrayal of the character, unfortunately. I really love her as an actress, but I thought just in the MCU here, she didn't reach the potential that she could have, in my personal opinion. Now, I'm not sure if that was the script or the direction that the film was going, but I just didn't love the character, unfortunately, which made me not really invest in the movie as a whole. That being said, it was cool having Nick Fury's in the film as a younger Nick Fury. The way he lost his eye was terrible. I'm not even going to talk about that. Also great seeing Agent Coulson again. I liked the Skrulls kind of, but I also didn't really love the Skrulls. I'm more excited to see what they do with the Skrulls down the line. But overall, it was a decent movie. That's what's in the D tier. D for decent. I just made that up on the spot, but that's what we're going to go with for now. So yeah, Captain Marvel is D for decent, and we've got Iron Man 1 here. That's the first MCU film that came out in release order, and it was amazing. This really did open the floodgates of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, let's be honest. It's definitely going to A tier. I might even put it in S tier, but it's even on A tier for now. I loved Iron Man. I remember watching it when I was younger even. I remember watching it in the cinema, and I was like, this was not what I was expecting. It was so much better than that, than what I was expecting going into the film. And obviously Robert Downey Jr.'s performance is iconic as the character. No one will ever be able to reach the standard he set for this character ever again. He really is the icon of the Marvel Cinematic Universe up until this point. And I love this film. Great antagonist with Obadiah Stane, who's played by Jeff Bridges, and Jon Favreau just did a really good job directing this film, and it did definitely set up what was to come in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which was really exciting. And I'm so glad this film exists, because if it didn't, we probably would not have the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we know today. And you guys know I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, let's be honest. Cool, next up we have Iron Man 2, and unfortunately this one did not reach the standard or the heights of the first one. So it is going straight to C tier, or D tier. I'm actually going D tier on this one. This was a decent film. That was it. I'll put it in front of Captain Marvel though, because I don't love Captain Marvel. Anyway, Iron Man 2 is in D for decent, because it felt like it was kind of just setting up the events of Thor, the events of the Avengers, and it did kind of just lose focus on the heart of Iron Man, which is kind of ironic, because the whole film is about him sort of making a new heart, you know. Look, it had some great moments in it. I did love the stuff between Tony and his dad. It was obviously great seeing War Machine for the first time. I really love Sam Rockwell as what was his name? Justin Hammer. That was great. So there is some good stuff in this film, but it did just feel a bit too busy for me and a bit too all over the place. And after rewatching it a couple more times since its release, it definitely has sort of gone down in my rankings of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's a decent film, but it definitely did not reach the heights and the level of the first one, unfortunately. Next up we have The Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk. And yeah, this film was good. It was good. I don't hate it as much as most people do. Some people don't like this film at all. Some people also don't even know it takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it does. And I think the confusion lies because of Edward Norton playing the Hulk, not Mark Ruffalo in this film. But it was a decent film. I enjoyed it. I think it's hard to make a good Hulk movie. I'm going to kind of put it in C tier for now. I think it's a solid film. Yeah, and I thought Edward Norton did a great job as Bruce Banner. It's a very different portrayal of the character than what Mark Ruffalo did with the character, but I still think it really works in this film. And then obviously at the end of that film you saw Robert Downey Jr. make a cameo appearance, and that just blew my mind. I was like, okay, it's happening. We're getting Avengers. It's going to happen eventually. So that was really great. Next up we have the first Thor movie, and again, this was a pretty solid entry in my mind. I'm kind of even leaning towards B tier on this one. We're going B tier for the first Thor movie, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. I remember being very concerned how they were going to bring Thor to life in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I was surprised at how well they did that. Obviously there's some issues with the film. We don't like Thor's bleached blonde eyebrows. That's a no-go.
That's the worst dick you can ever get. Don't.
But I feel like the Thor movie as a whole was really great. It did feel very character-centric. It focused on the character as opposed to, you know, the action sequences. And this film does really have some great action sequences, don't get me wrong. But it definitely did keep the character stuff at the core, which I feel like is always a good thing in these films. So it's at B tier. I really enjoyed this film. Okay, the first Avengers film. This is going straight to, guess where? S tier. This film blew my freaking mind when I first saw it. It blew my mind. And you can even go up to some of my friends and be like, hey guys, how many times did Dan actually watch Avengers in the cinemas? And they will say probably around 6 times, because I did watch it probably around 6 times in the cinemas. I still remember those days. I was in school, on school holiday, and I literally went to the movies like 6 days in a row to watch this film. It blew my mind. It was amazing. It's definitely up there being one of my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe films of all time, if not my favorites. It's got a very nostalgic place in my heart. Seeing all these characters interact for the first time on screen just blew my mind, and I don't think people will realize how big of a deal this was at the time. We had seen nothing like it before, so it really does hold a special place in my heart, and that's why it's going to the S tier for special in my heart. That's special. Cool. Next up we have Iron Man 3, and oh my word, I hated the twist in this film so much. I've kind of gotten a bit more used to it now, if I'm honest. But I did not like the twist, and I feel like as a whole, I know what the movie was trying to do, but I just didn't love it, unfortunately. So it's going to D tier. I don't even know where to put this in the D tier. Yeah, I'll put it there. It was okay. The Mandarin stuff I didn't love. I really hope we get a better Mandarin in Shang-Chi, which it looks like we are going to, which is exciting. But as I said, I know what the movie was going for, but it just didn't work for me, unfortunately. And I didn't like that Iron Man didn't really have his suit most of the film, and I know that was a point, but I was like, really? That being said, I did like seeing the struggles that Tony was going through after the sort of PTSD events of what happened in the first Avengers. I thought that was cool. Next up we have Thor: The Dark World, and this is not good. This is going, might even go under Captain Marvel. Yeah, I'm gonna put it there for now. It wasn't great, and luckily with Avengers Endgame, which we'll get to just now, it redeemed a lot of qualities of this film. But this film wasn't great for me. The Dark Elf stuff I did not care for. The stuff with Jane, it didn't work that much. I didn't really buy into the chemistry, and yeah, I didn't love it. I honestly thought Loki was the best part of this film, if I'm honest, and he stole the whole show for me. So yeah, it's over there for now. Wasn't great. It was decent. Decent for D. D for decent. Next up we have Captain America, the Winter Soldier. This is going to the S tier. It's a great film. Amazing action sequences. It's an espionage sort of spy thriller movie. It was great. Honestly, this whole movie just works super, super well. The character stuff's great. The action stuff's great. The score is great. The cinematography is great. It was a really just entertaining and thrilling film. And I really did feel like it was super different to what the MCU had done before, which is great. So it felt like a fresh take on this character, and I just loved the spy thriller aspect to it as well, with some really engaging action sequences. It is great, and obviously the relationship with Steve and Bucky in this film, it was heartbreaking, and they did that super, super well on screen. So I did enjoy this film a lot. It's going to S tier, but yeah, as you can see, the first Avengers is still above it because it might be my favorite Avengers movie of all time, and my favorite Marvel movie of all time, Marvel Cinematic Universe movie of all time. Okay, next up we have Guardians of the Galaxy, and yeah, I want to put this on the S tier as well. What's not to love about this movie? Like, really, it is so freaking good. Look, before going into the film, I was intrigued by it. I was like, how are they going to make these really obscure, random Marvel characters good? Like, in a good movie. Like, how are they going to bring them to life in this film? And they did a pretty good job. Obviously, James Gunn directed this film, and he did another fantastic job in Suicide Squad. He did a fantastic job in Suicide Squad, which I'll talk about maybe another video. But yeah, it was a great, entertaining film. The character stuff was amazing. Again, this film focuses a lot on the characters over everything else, and we needed that for this film. I also feel like James Gunn is fantastic at directing ensemble casts, and this film was great. I mean, look, if I had to be very critical, the villain didn't work for me that much, but at the same time, I didn't really care about that much because the film as a whole was just so good. So it's up there in S tier. I think it's one of the best Marvel Cinematic Universe films to this date. Volume 2. Oh, where did I put it? No, it's not in D tier. Sorry, it's on D tier. It's way better than D tier. Yeah, we'll put it. I want to put it in the high B tier. Look, it was good. It was good, but it could have been better, and I don't know, just some of the humor in this film didn't work for me as much as it did in the first film. You know, I thought Ego was cool as a villain, but yeah, I felt like this film was just missing a little bit of something, just a little bit of something. That being said, the stuff with Star-Lord and the father aspect in this film, so with Ego and then Yondu, that stuff worked really well, and it is definitely some of the more heartwarming and heart-touching moments of the MCU, which I did appreciate. So yeah, it's a good film, and maybe I should rewatch it again, but I just remember not being as entertained or as in love with it as I was with the first film, unfortunately. But it's still really good. It's in B tier. B for best. B for best. I can't be B for best because then I don't know. It's gonna say that. We're gonna move on. Avengers Age of Ultron. Yeah, this film's going to C tier. C tier, maybe above Incredible Hulk. I don't love this film. It was great seeing Pietro and Wanda on screen for the first time since the post-credit scene of that one other film. But it was great seeing them in action. But yeah, this film just felt average for me personally. I thought the end, like the final act of the film, was really entertaining with some great character moments, but everything before that just felt a bit messy. I didn't quite like the stuff with Thor, where he goes on like a weird side quest thing, and that just felt a bit weird and out of place. That definitely felt like studio interference for me. I'm not sure if that was the case, but I felt like that. And I don't know, I felt like it could have been a bit more personally. But it was great seeing, yeah, as I said, Wanda for the first time, you know, Pietro, and then also Vision. Vision was introduced in this film, and that was a really iconic moment in the MCU, so it was cool. And yeah, it was good. C for could have been better. C for could have been better. Next up we have Ant-Man. Ant-Man, I might put into Strong C or B? Strong C or B? I'm gonna go B for this one. This film's underrated in my opinion. I feel like more people should be talking about it as a strong MCU film. Paul Rudd did a great job as his character. Look, a part of me really wants to see what Edgar Wright would have done. I know he was initially attached to this film, but that being said, Peyton Reed still did a really great job directing this film, and it is a really entertaining heist film with a weird little twist to it. You know, like I don't know. There are some issues with the villain, I get that, but I thought everything else besides that was really good. A really great cast as well in this film, and I really enjoyed it. So it's going to go to B tier. Okay, next up we have Civil War, and this film was also fantastic. Oh man, where should I put this? I'm gonna go A tier for now. A tier for now. We obviously got Spidey introduced in this film. We got Black Panther introduced in this film, which is great. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It did really get into like the sort of conflict and the tension within the Avengers, which I thought was really interesting. And again, with this film, there's some amazing action sequences throughout, and I thought it was really cool. It was also just great seeing all these characters fight each other, which we hadn't really seen up until that point, you know. So that was cool. I didn't really love the Baron Zemo stuff that much. Thought it could have been better, but it was entertaining. I also did really love the twist of the fact that the Winter Soldier killed Tony's parents. I thought that was super interesting. So there's a lot to love about this film, and it's definitely one of the best MCU films in my opinion. That's why it's an A tier. I don't know if it is before or after Iron Man. We can put it after maybe for now. Yeah, I mean A and S tier are so close for me. Like, it's just, I don't know. I kind of feel like all of them are just great. All of these ones, just fantastic, and it's hard to like split them up and rank them from there because I just love them all so much, you know what I mean? Anyway, let's move on. Spider-Man Homecoming, decent, good, best, might be in best. Yeah, it's going best. It's going to go probably go here actually. I enjoyed this film. It was a really interesting take on the Spider-Man character. I liked that he actually looked like a high school kid for the first time ever in the live action stuff. That was great. I also liked how the villains in this film were using, you know, old Chitauri tech from the first Avengers film that they had scavenged. That was interesting. That was an interesting dynamic. And I thought Tom Holland did a good job as his character too. Definitely not my favorite Spider-Man movie by a long shot, but I think it's decent. And Michael Keaton as the Vulture was also super good. He was great. So I enjoyed this film quite a bit. It was good. It was good. It was best. It was best. Doctor Strange. Ooh, it's gonna go B tier as well. I'm probably gonna put it here, like between the first Avenger and Guardians Volume 2. I actually rewatched this film the other day. Really good film. Benedict Cumberbatch kills it. One major issue I have with this film is, why is his cape so freaking annoying? Like when he wipes his tears, that was so dumb. I hate that scene in this film. But everything else was great about this movie. The villain could have been a bit better, I guess, but I still enjoyed it. The Ancient One, who's played by Tilda Swinton, fantastic. And then obviously just the visuals in this film. Mind-blowing. Mind-freaking-blowing. It is great. And it is also one of the better MCU posters, just saying. Because a lot of these are really bad. Moving on, Black Panther. So look, I don't love Black Panther, as many people did. Or as much as many people did, I should say. So it's going to go C tier, strong C tier though. It is a good film, really strong villain with Killmonger. Andy Serkis as well was great, and then obviously Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, as T'Challa, so good, so good. And some of the direction and the stuff, you know what? I'm actually going to move it to B tier. I changed my mind. We'll put it. Let's just put it here for now. Some of the flashback stuff in this film was really great as well. Terrible CGI in some scenes, but let's not get into that. Overall, it is a really strong film, and I thought, it was an interesting look into this character, which obviously also comments on real stuff that's happening in the world today, which I thought was interesting. So yeah, it's gonna go B tier. There's a lot on B tier at the moment. We might have to shift some of those things a little bit later. And then we got Thor Ragnarok. Oh my word, where's this gonna go? This film was great. It's gonna go A tier. Oh no, what am I doing? A tier? Over there. Yeah, it's a really entertaining film, super funny. Taika Waititi directs it. We love Taika Waititi here. On this channel, we loved Taika Waititi. He was fantastic. Such great humor. We got Korg in this film. And it was super, like, different directions to take the Thor character, and it actually worked really well. So I really enjoyed this film. Kate Blanchett as well as Hela was great. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really entertaining. Great soundtrack as well. It was good. I liked it. It was great. A for awesome. Then we got Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is going straight to, no, I'm joking, it's not going S tier. No. This was actually one of the weaker Marvel Cinematic Universe films for me. So we're going to probably put it in D tier. D tier. Ooh, where should I put it? I'm going to put him here, put it here for now. I don't know why I don't love this film. I just didn't. It was kind of forgettable for me, if I'm honest. I like the quantum realm stuff. I like some of the characters. It was obviously great seeing the Wasp in action for the first time, but overall, like, it was just quite a forgettable experience for me, unfortunately. It was a decent sequel to the first one, but I still feel like the first one is way better, in my opinion. Alrighty, and then we have Black Widow, which is actually the most recent Marvel Cinematic Universe film to have come out. Got delayed because of the COVID stuff. And this film is probably going to go C tier. Low C tier. Look, it has Florence Pugh, so like a part of me wants to put it here. Part of me actually wants to put it here. But unfortunately, if I'm very critical, the film itself wasn't great. It had some cool moments, C for cool. But I just thought, yeah, it could have been a bit better. I thought the focus didn't really feel like it was on Natasha the whole time, which it was kind of like her swan song film, you know, like it was her last movie, you know, give her a decent, you know, film. And I thought it was just, the film felt almost distracted by a lot of other things. And yeah, obviously it was great having Florence Pugh. We love Florence Pugh. But even like the stuff for the Red Room, like, it did have like a sort of James Bond feel to it, which I kind of appreciated. But like, from what I knew of what was going on, I always imagined like the Red Room being a lot more like of a secretive, you know, underground sort of facility, and then there's like a base in the sky sort of thing. It didn't work for me. Red Guardian was great. Some of the other characters in this film were great as well. The villain wasn't great either. So it's decent, and I'll definitely rewatch it in the future. But it's a C tier Marvel film in my opinion. But it definitely does have one of the strongest opening credits for a Marvel Cinematic Universe film. That hit hard. That moved me. It was good. But yeah, it's gonna go C for could have been better. Avengers Infinity War, I mean, let's be honest, that's going up here. It's going up here, yeah. They're gonna put it there for now. And I mean, what's not to love? I freaking nearly cried walking out of the cinema. What's not to love about this film? It is so good, with the amount of characters this film has, and the way it executes everything. So entertaining, so great. And the Battle of Wakanda is amazing. It's amazing. I love the Guardian stuff with Thor as well. There's a lot of like heartwarming and heart-touching character moments in this film, which I wasn't expecting going into it, because I knew of just the scale of what this film had to be, you know, and it still managed to focus on certain characters. And obviously Thanos was a great villain and antagonist, and the ending was just obviously mind-blowing for all of us Marvel fans. Then we get Endgame, and I love Endgame a lot, but it's going to go in A. It's going to go in A, because, and the reason for it not being an S tier is because there's a lot of things that had to happen to get to where the movie sort of concludes, and like the final act of the film. And I think the final act of the film is arguably perfect, but a lot of the stuff before that did kind of feel a bit dragged out and drawn out, and I know it had to be because they were trying to set up how they were going to save everyone. But just from rewatching it, like, I have realized that it does take quite a while to get to that point, which I know can be an issue for some people. But it's a great film. It's a freaking good film, don't get me wrong. And obviously the death of Iron Man will always be in my heart. I even cried watching that film, and I probably will cry if I watch it right now. It's just so beautiful seeing that, because it's iconic. It's great. Next up we have WandaVision. I'm just gonna go A tier. Yeah, fantastic show. Fantastic show. And I'll fight anyone who disagrees with me on that. It is a good show. I liked the way that this film came out weekly as opposed to all at once, because every single week, the whole freaking week, I was thinking, what is going to happen next? Is that really Pietro? Is it the Pietro from the X-Men universe? You know, like, what is happening with this character? Is Agatha Harkness really the villain? Where's Mephisto? So many questions, and every single week, like literally every day, I was thinking about what was going to happen and what direction the show was going to go. Look, the start was a little iffy here and there. It took a while to get into. Like the first, I think at the end of the second episode, I was invested and I was keen. But before that, it did take a while to sort of get into it. And then I guess the last episode, it did kind of feel like super Marvel-y, which is not necessarily a criticism, but I kind of liked how the show kind of felt like it was its own style and it was going in its own direction. And then the final episode kind of was like, okay, here's like the Marvel sort of action sort of stuff, which was fun and it worked. But yeah, I did kind of like what was happening before that point. And then there were also a few things that kind of just felt like a bit of a misdirect here and there, which wasn't great. Like the Pietro thing definitely was a misdirect, and that was unfortunate because like it's fine that it wasn't Pietro, but at the same time it definitely wanted us to think that it was him. And I feel like that was pretty disappointing for some people, and rightfully so. It didn't bother me like that much because I still really enjoyed the whole show, but I get why it bothered people. Also, Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany in the show were fantastic. Their performances were amazing. I think it was the second to last episode where Wanda almost goes back into her past and revisits moments in her life. It was amazing. The performances were amazing in the show. So it's A tier Marvel for sure. And then we got Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and yeah, it's gonna go C tier. There was a lot to like about the show, and I don't really want to get into spoilers because it is quite new still. But yeah, I just felt like it could have been maybe 4 episodes as opposed to 6, and some of the episodes just weren't that great in my opinion. There were some banging episodes. There were 1 or 2 banging episodes, but most of them I kind of just was a little bored, if I'm honest. We did get a good interpretation of Baron Zemo, who I know a lot of people were disappointed of his interpretation in Civil War. So that was good, but it could have been better. That's what's in C tier. Next up we have Spider-Man Far From Home, and when I first saw this movie I absolutely loved it, but after rewatching it a couple of times, it's gonna go to C tier. It's gonna go C tier. I realized a lot of the love I have for Spider-Man is also the love I have for New York City, if that makes sense. They need to be together. It makes it way more entertaining. I don't know why. I just feel like a huge part of the Spider-Man character is New York City, and stripping him away from that was cool and exciting and fun, but I was also kind of like, no, I want to see him in New York City, you know? I don't know. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio was great. I absolutely loved him. Yeah, I mean, Tom Holland once again was great in this film, but I did just kind of feel like, I don't know, it missed the Spider-Man spark for me, unfortunately. And I'm also kind of getting over all his super fancy technological suits. You know, strip him back down to like him in his own web shooters. That's kind of what I want. And I'm already seeing photos of the new one, No Way Home, and he's got like freaking Doctor Strange magical, you know, powers coming out of his suits, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. Look, I don't want to judge that movie yet because it's not out, but it's a very big concern for me right now. It's what you would call a red flag, and I'm a little concerned about that. Anyway, we won't talk about that because it's not there. And then we have Loki. Now Loki, this was one of the better Marvel Cinematic Universe series at the moment, and it's going to A tier. I'll put it here. Now the reason why this series is not an S tier, say for example, is because episode 3 was not good. It was not good. A quick little story time. Me and my friends were all kind of watching this show separately, and then we were like, hey, no, let's watch it together. So we got together for episode 3 to watch it, and we just all kind of sat there like, okay, it's not as good as the first episodes. But that being said, outside of episode 3, the show was fantastic. Owen Wilson was amazing in this show. Tom Hiddleston was obviously amazing, and the rest of the cast and crew were also amazing. I don't want to talk too much about it because of spoilers, and it's still kind of a recent show, but it does definitely set up the next event of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is so exciting. And I remember getting like goosebumps watching the show because of like what it was doing, and I never expected to be this engaged and excited about Marvel stuff after Endgame. I kind of thought honestly that Endgame was going to be like the peak of the Marvel stuff, and it was going to kind of sort of dip until like maybe like the next Avengers film, you know. But this was a great show. It was fantastic. So many lovable moments in it. Tom Hiddleston was freaking fantastic. I personally did not want a Loki show. When I first saw that this was announced, I was like, we don't need this. It's not necessary. But now after watching it, it was definitely needed. And it was so exciting. I cannot wait to see what happens next, which is awesome. So guys, as you can see, there's nothing in E and F, which is weird, and I actually put those rows in because I thought I might need them, and yeah, I mean, I don't really want to change anything. I kind of like this at the moment, but let me know your thoughts, guys. What would you rank the Marvel Cinematic Universe films? Maybe at least let me know what your S tier would be. Let me know your S tier ranking in the comments down below. And obviously this is going to change. Probably I might do another one next year when there's like a lot more Marvel stuff that has been released. These rankings for me change all the time. Like if I watch one of these films right now, this might change again. But this is just currently at the moment where I stand with all these films. Yeah, but I love Marvel. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I've missed making videos, I will be honest, and I'm going to try to do more. This tier list thing was really fun, so if you guys do have any other ideas, let me know, and I'll definitely consider making them. Like any other like tier list for films or something like that, I'll do it. I'll definitely do it. So yeah, thanks for watching though, and I'll see you guys soon. Until next time, bye bye.